Hey, this is Will from the Mythmasters channel here on YouTube, as well as the Mythmasters page on Facebook, and the administrator of the MYFAROG Mythic Fantasy Role-Playing Game Gamers Group on Facebook. Tonight, I was bored as absolute hell, and I really wanted to run a game. So I got together some members from the MYFAROG Mythic Fantasy Role-Playing Game Gamers Group. Tonight, joining me is Dakota, Josh, and Sebastian, three awesome members of our group who are going to run a basically improv game. I don't have too much information at hand, but we're just going to have some fun, play a game. Hopefully you guys will enjoy what's going on. So the setting, we are in Tuscania and Stream, a population of roughly 9,400. Stream is known for its large stone walls, its giant marble pantheon. It's a rather large village, all things considered, in Thule. And the characters are basically enjoying their time out in the sun. It's a nice, beautiful day here in Stream, Tuscania. And I'll start from my left to my left, and I'll let the characters introduce themselves. Sebastian, go ahead and tell us what your character is doing on this fine afternoon in Tuscania.
So, Stavros the Rogue, being sort of the nerdy one of the group, he's sort of sitting down by a tree, reading his scroll he managed to pick up at the market. Just reading over it, really, just letting his friends get on with their own business.
Awesome. Stavros, the nerd of the group. And Josh, you are next. Tell us a little bit about your character and what he's doing today.
So, my character's name is Gundarik. He is known for not being particularly fearless, which is why he has challenged his good friend to a friendly spar, one could say. His opinion of his friend is that he's a far superior fighter to him, but that's not going to stop him from trying to improve himself in friendly one-on-one combat.
Haha, as is the way of Thule, friends fighting friends to determine who is the most powerful. And Dakota, the other warrior, we could only assume. What are you doing today?
Luceus is kindly humoring the smaller and less experienced fighter with his shield and spear, just calmly blocking his blows and throwing a few of his own. But overall being a good sport about it and trying to make him learn. He's standing in fur pants and a big fur trench coat, and he's got these tattoos around his eye that spell out his name, Luceus, in the old runes. And he's still just kind of playing with the fighter, just enjoying the day.
Awesome, awesome. So Luceus and Gundarik are lashing swords back and forth at each other, and Stavros is beneath the tree near them, reading whatever manuscript he may be reading from. They know each other quite well growing up in this community. They've kind of formed their own small clique. And as you gentlemen, you young warriors, are enjoying your nice sunny morning, a bard who you don't necessarily know to be from Tuscania, but it's very apparent that he's a bard. He has his lyre hanging from his bag, and he walks up to the three of you and acknowledges your presence, and kind of gives a nod down to Stavros with his book, and looks over to Luceus, who appears to be a mighty warrior, and he says, warrior, surely you will win this battle, and talk to me more about your adventures when you are done.
So Gundarik is still swinging at Luceus, and all of a sudden he just does this quick spin move that lands him right in front of the bard. And he says, "What would you like to ask me?"
At this point, Stavros just looks up and goes, "Oh, no, another adventure is calling."
Haha, yes, I am quite the adventurer. People have sung songs of my tales all throughout Tuscania. But you, A lot of you look like quite experienced young lads for the age of you, I'd say. Look at you. And he like kind of gestures toward your tattoos, Lysaeus. And this man, this bard, you know, he's got hide leather clothing. It looks like he probably made it himself and sewn together roughly, but it definitely looks of quality fur. This guy's not fucking around. He might be a musician, but clearly he's worth his salt. And he just gestures to you, Lysaeus, that you look like a strong warrior, and wants to know about what you've done recently. Tell me about your conquests, young warrior.
Well, my conquests have been rather humble in the grand scheme of things, good bard. I have spent a lot of time in the company of my kin, avenging the deaths of my family by carrying out attacks against Commission invaders.
Well, quite honorable. Commission invaders are truly a problem in these parts of Tuscania. And he looks over to Gundrick, and he sees like the sweat on your face, and he admires the fighting spirit that you've got into you going against someone who clearly appears to be a more substantial warrior. And he says, how about you, little warrior? Tell me about your conquests, and maybe I'll tell you about mine. Or shall I sing them to you?
Well, as you can see from my position currently on the ground, I'm not in the shape to be conquering much of anything, but I'm willing to give it a go.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've got a lot on my plate right now. People are asking this of me, they're asking that of me. I am quite a busy bard, and I'm quite popular in this part. How about I offer the three of you a proposition? You retrieve something for me. I will make sure that you are handsomely rewarded, and I will be sure to write a song of your conquests upon your return. What do you say?
Gundrick immediately jumps up from off the ground, very enthusiastic about this proposal. It's like, that sounds excellent. It's like, what do y'all think? We should do this.
And Lysaeus, he nods at his friends, and he says, yes, I agree. I could do with a few songs being written about me. That sounds great.
Stravos stands up and goes, Bard, I am the one who writes the manuscripts and sings the songs of our tales. But you know what? We've got nothing else better to do. So what are you proposing?
And he kind of laughs and slides his lyre in front of him and just quickly strums a chord like to start his conversation. It sounds very pleasant. It's like a major chord, you know, it's very pleasing to the ears. And he says, let me tell you a tale about a dagger and a scroll that are supposedly outside of town in the ruins nearby. I'm sure through the south gate of town you have undoubtedly eventually come across the ruins. Maybe they're Fairling, I don't know, they're very old. But a friend of mine has come to me with the task of retrieving a scroll and a dagger that are very specifically at the bottom of this ruin, per se. And if you could save me a great deal of time by going and retrieving those things, I will meet you right back here in town. And he kind of pulls a sack of coin from his waist and kind of jingles it in front of you guys. He says, I will pay you handsomely. And then he puts the coin purse back onto his waist and strums another major chord on the lyre and says, and I will write songs of your tales. If you are all willing, I don't see why you wouldn't be suitable for the job. You look like fine young warriors.
Yeah, we definitely got to make this song worthy, don't we?
Lysaeus just goes to collect his gear and kind of waits for directions.
And he just kind of cocks his shoulders back confidently and looks down at the lot of you and says, it's as easy as I said. Head straight south. The path will lead you there. You'll undoubtedly run into the old ruin. Go inside the ruin. what lurks inside the ruin, I could not tell you. But go into the ruin, search for the dagger. It should be pretty hard to miss. Search for the scroll. It's probably near the dagger. I don't know for sure. But you would be helping me out a great deal if you could bring me back these items. And I could help you out a great deal as far as spreading your names across Thule. What do you say?
I say we set out immediately. This is an excellent opportunity, friends.
Luceus nods in approval and like slaps Gundrick on the shoulder. He says, "Yes, I agree. We should set out right now."
So Stravos picks up his bow and his own lyre, and he says, "If you mess up my song, Bard, I will come back for you."
Oh, you've got nothing to worry about. I'm an excellent songwriter. My songs are sung all over Tuscania. And as he's saying this, there's an accident going on around you. It appears that some cart has toppled over, full of grain and stuff. All behind you as this is all going on. This cart has toppled over, and people are concerned.
So Luceus will go and talk to the man who is at the head of the cart and ask him what happened.
And the old man driving the cart, he looks at Luceus and says, "I couldn't tell you. It looks like we must have hit a goddamn rock in this old shitty roads." And he kind of gestures to the super uneven rocky road behind him, and clearly that's probably what tipped his cart. But you look and you see his grain is all spilt all over. A whole mess. You know, this guy's profit for the month is fucked.
So Luceus will ask him, "Is there anything I can do to help you? Can my friends help you?"
No, nobody's helped me a goddamn day in my life. I may as well just pick all this shit up with my bare hands, put it all back into the goddamn barrels with my bare hands, and then flip this fucking cart over with my bare hands, and then get to moving. That's life in Thule.
Come now. There's no need to be so cynical. And I clap his hand with mine. I say, "We'll help you."
Stavros just starts kneeling to help pick up the grain.
And the bard, Gambar, he starts strumming his lyre, and you can hear him kind of making out an inaudible tune, rather, as to how you need to retrieve this scroll and dagger, and nothing else matters.
Generosity matters.
I say at least try to pull his cart back over. I don't think we need to stay and help him pick all of it up, but we should at least help him while we're all here to flip his cart.
That sounds good.
And this guy's totally reluctant. He's like, he's a grumpy old bastard, but he's not going to not let you help him. Oh man, I rolled triple sixes. That's a natural 18. So you guys are able to flip his cart back up on end. His grain is still kind of spilled everywhere, but you're able to get what you're able to get.
So after we flipped the cart back over, just nod at the old man and continue down the path to the south.
Wish him good luck.
Yeah, and you kind of hear him holler something inaudible to you. He's like, you're not really sure what the hell this old guy said. He wasn't worth your time, but it was a nice thing of the party to do to help this man before you help yourselves. And the bard, he's still standing underneath the tree, almost looking at you ominously as he has his lyre in his hand as you guys head toward the south. He's just kind of smiling, almost winking at you like, "Hey, thank you."
What a strange man.
So I'd like to roll a perception check.
Sure, yeah, give me 3d6.
Ah, nice. So I need to see if I have any pluses. Nope, 15.
So as you're walking through the south, you see this large stone fortified wall of this this village that you live in. You know, it's very heavily protected. The gate is wide open. There's guardsmen standing up on top of the wall and down at the sides of it. There's like 4 men. There's 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top of the other side. And on the other side of the wall, almost immediately, dense forest begins. There's a lot of forest ahead of you, but there's a very clear-cut path, and you're able to see that this path is the path heading south, and that's generally where you need to go.
So I assume we continue down the path without any difficulties.
I agree. Can the Mythmaster please tell me what time of day it is?
Yeah, it's about noon. You've got a solid 5 to 6 hours before nighttime is going to come.
Okay, I just didn't want to enter the forest in the middle of the night. I thought that might be a not smart idea. So, yeah, I say we continue forth.
Stravos is just practicing his chords as he walks along the path, just sort of muttering, "I'll show that damn bard."
And as you enter the forest, you know, it's very green. Everything is very vivid. It's bright out. You hear birds and other animal life rapidly around you. And you know that the old ruins, while you've never really explored there before due to kind of fear and stories you've heard growing up, you know of them, but you've never really ventured there, and you know that you've got quite a walk in front of you. It could be roughly 6 to 8 miles in front of you. Visayas, you know that for certain.
So what do y'all reckon we'll find there?
Luceus turns to Gundrick and he says, "Nothing. There's nothing out there but trees, empty buildings. They tell the stories, but I'll believe it when I see it."
Fair enough.
Do neither of you find it strange that a bard is sending us to the middle of these ruins to apparently find a scroll and dagger? You'd think someone would have picked it up by now.
Luceus just looks down at Stravos and he says, "Bards are strange people."
You're telling me?
I'm sure that there's some reason for why he's doing this. Perhaps he has something that needs to be done immediately. And what better than to outsource to 3 strapping young lads and pay them for a small fraction of what you're being paid to return these items?
Perhaps he just lost it. Perhaps there's bandits in there that stole it from him. We'll never know till we get there.
You have a point.
Yeah, and you guys are continuing down this path. Everything looks very nice. You see like butterflies and typical foresty stuff going on. Can I get a perception from everyone?
$11.
12.
8.
All right, and everybody, you guys are pretty confident that this is a safe path, that you have nothing to stress, and that you will arrive at your destination in no time.
Sounds good. It's a good day today.
All right, so I'm pushing the story forward. So you guys are consisting down this this trail about 6 miles away. About 2 miles into your journey, you've gone, or 2 hours into your journey, rather. You've gone a little over 3 miles. If everyone has their stamina factored, if you wouldn't mind testing your stamina against a degree of difficulty of 16. So 3d6 plus your stamina, it'd be 16.
18 total.
I've got a 16 exactly.
19 total.
All right, cool. So everybody is good. Josh, I think it's like technically a semi-success, but
Yeah.
we're not going to worry about that. We'll say that you're totally good. You're a little you're dragging a little behind Luceus and Stravos, but you're holding up just fine. So you guys continue walking for approximately, another hour and a half. And you start to come upon these ruins, and you see overturned large stones in front of you, kind of creating a large rectangular pattern. The walls and ceiling have caved in a long time ago. It's overgrown with like moss and grass and weeds and stuff. But it definitely descends. There's a crumbled sort of staircase directly in front of you, still continuing south. So as soon as basically off to the side of the path, you see the ruin over to your right. And there's stairs going directly down, which will lead you ultimately inside of this ruin. And then there's just overturned large stones and so on.
Okay, so at the mouth of this descending staircase, Luceus would stop and kind of like have a look around his surroundings, try to see what's there. So if I could roll another perception check, that'd be awesome.
I would like to do the same.
Yeah, go ahead, Gundrick and Luceus. Give me 3d6.
14.
10. Fail.
Luceus, you hear something in the woods off to your right. Or Gundrick, rather.
No, something in the woods off to my right. No, it could be a small animal. It could be anything, really. But I'm not too worried about it. I'll motion to Luceus that I hear something from that direction. And I'll just walk over there, see what it is.
And I'll follow behind to back him up.
So Stravos is just going to get his bow out, knock an arrow, and just sort of nod at both of them and just start semi-drawing it back to get ready.
And as you start to knock this arrow, this almost like large sort of jackrabbit, the small game, just runs by and scurries and runs out of sight.
Yeah, nothing to be worried about. Perfectly safe. Quite fast little creatures, don't you think?
Who knows? It might be an equal match to your warrior skill, Gundrick.
Yes, I hear rabbits are quite skilled lancers themselves.
I'm sure rabbits are great lancers. Very nice, Gundrick.
So meanwhile, as he's sort of chuckling underneath his breath, Stravos is just going to sort of try and remember if he's read about this staircase maybe or heard about it from a local. So I'd like to roll word lore, please.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me. You are trained in world lore, right?
Correct. But just let me double check. Yeah, trained.
I am as well. So if I could roll.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I should just continue to marvel the wonders of the jackrabbit.
So that's a 10, including mod.
12 with mod.
So you're pretty certain these are Fairling. I mean, they look very old. And some of the stone carving that you see is almost a little too ornate for you to think that it was ancient Thulean. So you're pretty certain that these are the old Fairling ruins that the bard was mentioning.
So I turn to my companions and I point at the staircase and I tell them, "Gentlemen, this is it. This is what we're looking for. We got to go in there."
Oh, excellent. Found a path for us already.
Our silver awaits. And our
As the saying goes, spearman first.
Yeah, and down, these stairs, as I said, everything's pretty much overrun with moss and weeds and stuff. And then down at the bottom of, picture maybe like a 10 set or maybe, 12 stairs that lead straight down. And then there's this large rectangular kind of like a basement foundation, for like a house that was being built. But, the ruins of the civilization, or whatever you want to call what this used to be. And there's a far door. It looks like it hasn't been opened in forever, but it looks like it's opened up far enough that you might be able to squeeze in. It looks like it's like solid in place. Like the left door is opened up far enough that you guys could probably squeeze in, and that's on the far side of this crumbled ruin. There's obscure rocks and stuff along your way. So if you guys want to test acrobatics, I suppose that would be cool. We can test for falling and see how you do on your way across this rectangular ruined.
I've got a 10.
10 with mods.
To confirm again, sorry, character roll has no mod, correct?
If it's a character roll, yeah, you're good. I think character roll in 2.6 is actually going to give you what, like a quarter of your
level.
Either way, yeah.
I'll start. Just want to double check. That is a 7.
Okay, cool. So everybody's good except for Stravos. Stravos, as you're like following behind them, these two warriors who are sort of hopping and maneuvering over these rocks and gravel on their way to this fixed open door. You sort of stumble and falter behind them, but it's nothing serious. And you arrive at this overgrown with moss, and there's weeds hanging down, but the door is openable. Do any of you have torches?
I'd like to light a torch.
Yeah, that was my first question, because it's about to be dark. So if you have a torch.
Okay, I have a torch and a tinderbox, so it takes me 6 minutes to light a torch. I have torch now. So I'm going to put it in my like shield hand so I can still hold my shield and the torch and then have my spear at the ready. Is that all right?
Yeah, for sure. And is anybody else? So it's going to be Viseus going first. Stravos, you were a little bit behind the crew. What's the order? Is it going to be Viseus, Gundrick, Stravos? What do you want to do?
Luceus would kind of push his way to the front of the group, being that he has a big, large shield that everyone can get behind. So he kind of like motions everyone behind him.
In that case, I don't want the group to be picked off somehow, like if we get surrounded, so I'll move to the back of the group.
Stravos isn't really good up close, so again, he just has his bow at the ready, that kind of thing.
Cool. And as you enter, it's super dark. I mean, even with torchlight, it's hard to see in front of your face. And you kind of shimmy past, this adjacent open door, like frozen in place. And even the door, it has ornate ruins all over it, but you don't make them out to be through light of any kind. This is clearly of an older civilization that you're not aware of. And as you're heading down the stairs, you see clearly there's large cobwebs. There's spider webs in front of your face. There's large cobwebs as you are actually descending down even further to the subterranean levels. So you're going down these stairs. There's still green growth around you. Everything is very dark, and there are certainly webs everywhere.
Would you say that this counts as a confined space?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've hardly got enough room to stick your arms out to either side of you, so I'd maybe give you 5 feet from end to end.
So you can see that Luceus is visibly shaken up by the presence of these huge cobwebs. Like he kind of freezes up as soon as he sees all these huge webs when he gets to the subterranean level. And he pulls out his long sayax and just kind of holds it with a shaking, trembling arm.
Are you afraid of spiders, Luceus?
Yes, very much so.
test your give me a straight 3d6 against a dd8.
13.
So you're a little shooken up, but you're willing to press forward. These webs look like they're old.
Luce looks at the group and he says, "The mere presence of these webs makes me sick to my stomach."
Oh, spider webs. Lovely.
Stavros just sort of shakes his head and he just goes, "You would fight 10 men at once, and yet a mere spider makes you quake in your boots."
Yes, wait until you meet a spider the size of my shield. Then you'll rethink your callous attitude.
I defer to your judgments, Lucius.
And Lucius, you've reached the bottom of this stairwell by now, and it really just opens up into a large subterranean room. There's columns going down. It's really dark. As far as you can see, those columns seem to go down pretty far. You can't tell how big this room is, but you can tell it's pretty big. And again, you see more webs. You see webs from column to column, just kind of connecting places.
Can I roll a perception check for this?
Yeah, give me a perception, brother.
Thank you. And I fail. 10.
You're not 100%, but your paranoia is getting the better of you, and you are damn sure that there's big spiders down here.
So Stravos would like to roll perception because obviously he thinks that Lucius is just being a bit of a big baby.
All right, and you are right behind Lucius, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, yeah, go ahead. What was your perception roll?
14, including mods.
So as you step up right behind him at the end of the stair set, you swore that you just saw a large shadowy figure shoot across the ceiling of this subterranean room. You swore you just saw something large and legged moving across the ceiling.
Lucius, now I don't want you to panic, but there's something on the ceiling, and it looks almost as bad as that wench from the tavern from last night. With slightly better legs, I'll grant you.
Oh shit, that's terrible.
Lucius just looks back at him and says, "Say what? On the ceiling? Oh, gods. Well, let's get illuminating." And he just kind of like holds his shield tight to his chest and readies his sayax.
Lucius, perhaps I should go first and carry the torch.
He holds the torch out to you.
All right, so I'll scoot around my friend and move up to the front. I'll put my axe back in my belt and hold on to the torch.
And Lucius says, "No, just put it in your shield hand. Keep your axe at the ready."
But if we get attacked by anything, I can set it on fire.
I suppose you can try. Set fire to the web first.
You know what? Yeah, fuck these webs, man. Let's set them on fire.
So what do you want to do?
So I want to go to the closest web and see how it reacts to the flames.
Do you have a tinderbox? Are you using the torch? How are you going to light them up?
Yeah, just the torch.
Sure, yeah. And as soon as you touch the torch, these webs, they kind of shoot up and spread apart, almost immediately dissipating as soon as they've been ignited. You know, it's and you just see this large red, amber-colored smoldering going through the top of this cavernous room as all the spider webs just kind of burn away and the flame dissipates.
So as the flames are burning, Lucius is like following them with his eyes the best he can to see if he can catch a glimpse of the spiders.
You can give me another perception roll.
16.
Oh yeah, and as soon as those flames started, as soon as they started torching the ceiling, you saw the abdomen of this large monster spider start to hurry up and run toward the back of this large room.
And which direction is the back?
So I guess if you could say you came in from the south, it would be directly in front of you to what would be the south, I guess. You know, if the north is behind you, you're just pressing further southern.
So Luceus just holds his arm out to the group and says, I definitely saw this. We are in the home of a very, very big and dangerous spider. My friends, we need a strategy.
Well, if we see it come at us, you can stab it with your spear. Yeah, dude. Let's discuss strategy, boys.
All right.
We're in a confined space, so spears aren't going to be overly effective. We need to either lure it into a bigger room or find a way to get it outside.
Well, I have a bow, a dagger, and a sling. That's the only ones I'd say would work relatively would be a sling and a dagger, depending on how much space we have to work with.
Do you think we could build a fire on the inside of the entrance and kind of like smoke the place up?
That might be counterproductive, given that we do have to go in here.
But in order to get that spider out, I would say the spider is more dangerous to us than that smoke would be.
You're an arachnophobe. Don't worry about it. If it comes back for us, we'll kill it.
Could always just do that.
Spider. I have bad experiences with giant spiders. I don't fuck around with these things.
If you survived the wench at the tavern, you can survive this.
The wench at the tavern didn't have 8 legs.
But they were very hairy, Luceus. Personally, if I had a choice, I'd pick the spider over the wench, Luceus. I mean, you do you, but not this cheeky trickster, not me.
Luceus just like face palms and shakes his head and he says, I don't want to chase that thing. I know what direction it went. It went where we're going.
Which means it can't surprise us, because we know where it is.
Does everyone want to give me 3d6 for morale? Because you know what's coming.
That is
I've got a 15, I think.
12.
Check.
Let's say 13 for me.
Okay, so you're all feeling pretty confident against whatever lurks in the dark, the unknown. None of you are too shaken up about it.
So Luceus kind of recants on his statements, being kind of shocked before, and he kind of like adjusts his fur trench coat and kind of checks his shield a little bit. And he says, well, there's one of it and 3 of us. I think we can take it down, gentlemen.
Like, at most, we're only going to lose 1 person, he says jokingly.
And then Luceus elbows Stravos.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Gundrick. Do you have something to say?
No, I'm just observing.
Listen, Gundrick. I will take insults from the guy almost a foot taller than me. I will not be taking insults from you.
How tall are you again? Out of character.
Just as tall as you, boy.
I'm 5'8".
What is this? I thought we are here to find a scroll and a dagger, not compare the heights given to us by the gods. Are we really going with it?
I think that the shortest person is going to die. What do you think?
I think the person lacking in brains is going to die, my friend.
Luceus,
So you mean yourself?
Wrong. The one without the shield will be the one that dies. Then he snaps his.
But I have 2 shields, and they're standing right in front of me.
Well, all the better for you then. Pray that we know how to use our shields.
I trust you, my friend. This one.
But do you trust Gundrick?
Oh, a light-hearted warrior. There is no such thing in my books.
Sure they are. They're called madmen.
You have a point. The gods do love an occasional madman.
I think we dilly-dallied enough. Let's just go, boys.
So what do you want to do? Do you press forward?
Pressing forward. That's what I vote for.
Make sure you hold that spear high and out in front of you so we can see if that fucker comes for us.
Yeah, the torch.
So how are you moving? Are you guys walking? Are you moving slowly? Are you rushing through this corridor?
I say we move relatively fast, announce our presence, maybe scare some stuff off.
All right, so as you guys are getting closer to the door on the far end of this room, and there's only one door, and you can see it very obviously in the middle of the pillars as the torch starts to get light. So if I could get just one more perception check from all of you.
6.
That is a 12.
12.
Yeah, Luceus, the warrior. You immediately notice your worst fear right off, like to the right of you. If you're walking toward this thing, right to the right, almost halfway on the ceiling and halfway on the wall, is this very, very large spider just sitting there in place.
Is this place still like confined? Like, would I be able to use my spear effectively?
Yeah. The room that you're in is definitely big enough to utilize a spear.
Okay, so I'd definitely put my Sayax away, pull my spear out, and point directly at it. Like, there it is.
Can we roll for initiative?
Do we see what he's looking at, though?
Well, it's anybody's guess. Things got a lot of eyes, and it's starting to. It's upon your guys' arrival and the flames getting closer, it's starting to slowly move down toward the floor and almost face off against you guys and block this doorway in front of you. So, if you guys want to go ahead and give me initiative, that's cool.
We're probably going to have a pretty large initiative advantage considering how small the thing is compared to us.
9.
That's
7.
6.
All right, so it's going to be Luceus, Stravos, Gundrick, and the spider. So this thing has crawled down from the floor. It's facing you all. Luceus, what do you do?
Is it within range of me? Or how far from me is it, rather?
It's within 10 feet.
Okay, so my spear is 7 feet long, so I think I'd be able to, like, take a power step toward the spider and give it, like, a good thrust from the spear just to see if I can prod it.
Yeah, give me 3d6.
3d6 coming up.
Yeah, testing your OVME.
Really bad.
Oh man, is that a fumble? Do I have to look at the fumble table?
This could be really, really good. You know, you could get to make an attack against like anyone else within 10 feet of you or something.
What did you roll? With your DVME, what is that?
Wait, with my DVME?
Yeah, with that 3d6 roll you just gave me.
18.
Oh no shit. Oh yeah, dude. Then you're good. You struck him.
I think Will means your OVMA.
Oh, did I say DV? Yeah. Well then, yeah, I'm totally tripping. Sorry for saying DV. Thank you for the correction, Josh. I did mean
OVME is 6, so I missed him.
Oh, yeah, so you just barely missed him, though. At least it wasn't a fumble. So, yeah, if you want to describe how you barely missed this intimidating spider with your spear, go for it.
So as I kind of peek out behind the shield to push my spear forward into the darkness at the spider, I kind of like my foot just slips on a loose rock and my spear goes a little too far to the left and just glances over one of the spider's legs. I just
You
cringe.
almost hear a hiss. Yes, you almost hear a hiss come. You almost hear a hiss come from the spiders, like as you kind of missed. You know, it saw this blade coming toward it. It knows that you're threatening it now, and it raises back up on its hind legs, raises its front feet in like the most intimidating spider gesture you can imagine.
You say it physically cringes.
And Stravos, what do you do?
I'm just gonna take aim with my bow, fire straight at it. Just aim for like the head or the abdomen sort of area. So
Yeah, so go ahead, give me a your OVMI.
I think it's a 3. I'm not entirely too sure. I was a bit confused about calculating OVMI.
Okay,
Isn't
well,
it
we'll go over that later. What do you have written down for now?
3.
All right, so 3 plus whatever you rolled.
That's really good.
Including my including my mods that say 13.
13. All right, cool. So you hit him. Give me a brief moment here just to double check a table. And you can go ahead, if you have damage, you can go ahead and roll for damage now.
6.
Cool. I still haven't acquired this table yet. But hey, 6 isn't bad. I wish I had this book as memorized as I do 2.4. It's okay, though. We can still just keep pressing forward. All right, so you did 6. Go ahead and roll for cut and shock.
That is a 2 for cut, including mods.
Including mods, a 2 for
Yeah.
cut. Cool. That's a really good roll. Well, so cut, a 2, a serious bleeding wound. He's going to lose 1 HP every round for 6 rounds. After that, it's going to turn into medium bleeding.
Okay, and I'll just roll for shock.
Yep.
That is a 8, including mod.
Well, make sure you're rolling your 3d6.
Oh, yeah. Shock is 3d6 for sure.
Oh, sorry. Shock is 3d6. Apologies.
Yeah, so is cut if you didn't roll 3d6 initially.
Sorry. I'll redo that then.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, that's going to change everything. Give me 3d6.
That'll be an 8 for cut. Apologies.
You're good. You're good. So cut is going to be a light bleeding wound. So he's going to lose 1 HP every 10 minutes for 60 minutes.
All right. And shock will be a 13.
All right, and that's going to be nothing. All right, so you can go ahead and describe how your arrow hits him, and you nailed him for 6 points of damage.
So just sort of hit him square in the abdomen, maybe just a bit below the head. Just sort of does like a little celebratory yes, and sort of gestures at Gundrick saying, "Here we go."
My go. What do you think this is?
Prove yourself.
Grumble again. So I see the spider stumbling, and I'm going to try and finish it off.
All right, go ahead. What does Gundrick do to the spider?
Yeah, my roll is an 8 total. Does that hit?
No, I don't believe it does. No, it sure does not hit. You just missed him.
All right, so I was trying to hit it, but it gets pushed back by the arrow, and right where it would have been, it's not there anymore.
So as he just, were you trying to put an arrow in him, or were you trying to do physically attack him?
I was trying to hit him with the torch.
Okay. So, and he's kind of like raised up on his hind legs with his legs forward in front of him, and he's going to attempt to immediately counter-strike and attack you, Gundrick. Oh, wow. That's 3 1s. I doubt a 3 hits your DVME, does it?
Not quite, no.
That's a serious fumble. Do we fumble for monsters?
Yeah. Fumble.
Let's check out that fumble table, man.
Yeah, I was about to try to pull at it right now. Where's this fumble table?
The spider bites himself in the body.
It should be like right.
So I'd say go to page.
You can always make up a rolling too. Be the Mythmaster.
It should be on page 42.
Yeah, I'm like right there right now. I'm on 40. Yeah, so fumbling. He rolled. So it was a melee. This is fumbling, missile weapons, slings, ME. So that was a 3. So consequence for natural attacks. See, attacker breaks his weapon.
Yes. Because the attacker doesn't have a weapon, it's a natural attack, so it's F. Attacker hurts himself.
So he hurt himself. So he's going to take D4 damage. Let me go ahead and roll a D4. He loses 3 damage.
What happened here?
Maybe like fell in the air.
Well, as he lunged forward to swipe at you, the spider just totally lost his dexterity, fell forward, and just like bit his fangs and many eyes into the smooth marble below, and you just heard this nasty splat almost right in front of Lysaeus' face, kind of giving him the heebie-jeebies. You know, he's totally freaked out by the spider that just face planted in front of him.
I think Stravos' shot was better than he thought.
Damage the spider.
That's nothing for cut for him. And that's a 16 for shock, so nothing for shock either. And we're back up at the top. Lysaeus, this monster, giant, I should say. This giant spider has fallen in front of you. What do you do?
I will try to jab my spear into it while it's kind of like down, try to get a good shot in on its body or torso, I guess you could call it.
Cool. Give me 3d6 for that.
Hang on, I'm just calculating all my mods here.
Yeah, you're good, brother.
So I think that's +4, if I'm not mistaken. So 15.
Awesome. That is definitely a hit. Now, just give me a moment. It's 5 greater than his DV. But I can never find that table in 2.6, no matter how hard I freaking look for it. Here we go. So 5, yeah.
14. Sorry.
39. So it's a good hit, damage +2. So go ahead and roll damage for your spear and add 2.
That was a 14, by the way. I miscalculated.
Okay, that's so it's a rather good hit, damage +1.
Okay, cool. My spear is a D8 +1. So it'll be a D8 +2. 6 damage.
Cool. 6 damage.
Roll my cut now.
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll cut and shock,
So cut is 9 after all mod.
which is what? A light
8.
bleeding.
Damn it. Sorry. 8. I'm sorry, guys. It's an 8.
You're good. You're good, bro. Which will be light bleeding. He's going to lose. So he has 2 light bleeding wounds now, losing 1 HP every 10 minutes for 60 minutes.
Okay. And this is for shock. Nothing.
Okay, great. So you've managed to do a significant amount of damage to this giant spider, and he is what you would consider severely wounded. Now, Stravos, you've just seen Lysaeus deal mighty damage to the spider using his spear. What do you do?
So Stravos just slowly pulls up another arrow, and he just sort of looks at Luceus and he goes, "See, not really that scary." And he just fires the arrow straight at the spider, aiming for the eyes this time.
Awesome. Give me 3d6 with your OVMI factored into it.
OVMI is 3, so that would be a 14?
Awesome. That's a rather good hit. So it's going to be damage plus 1. So go ahead and roll damage, add 1.
So that's a 5.
Awesome. So describe how your arrow kills the giant spider.
So it just goes straight through the biggest eye that Stravos could see, just square through the eye. And you just hear like a satisfying sound as it just sort of goes straight through the skull and just lodges there. And the spider just drops to the floor immediately.
Awesome. Cool. And the spider is done. And the spider falls in its place. There's a short, maybe 4 or 5 stairs that lead to a large stone doorway that looks like it has Fairling inscriptions all over it.
I would like to loot the spider and see if I could I'll get like venom sacs from it to poison my weapons if I could.
And as he does that, I would like to propose that Stravos compose a song to honor our noble foe.
Aha, a well-respected suggestion. So yeah, give me 3d6 real quick, Dakota. It doesn't really matter. I'll let you harvest it regardless.
6.
Yeah, so you're able to harvest it. Not a problem. You had like a little vial that you carry stuff in. It was large enough spider that you were able to acquire venom from. And Stravos has been suggested the idea of writing a song about your conquest.
Would I have to roll for lyre playing?
No, you would have to improv a song right now on the spot.
So Stravos just sort of picks up his lyre and just starts strumming chords because honestly he hasn't really had time to prepare. So what he can relatively think of was Luceus, he killed a spider that had 8 legs. It wasn't as ugly as the wench in the tavern who had hairier legs. And Goodrick did nothing because he's really small. He doesn't really do anything at all. He hides behind his shield. He doesn't do much. We should have just left him in the field.
All right, cool. Now test your lyre playing.
So including mods, that is a 13.
I'll say that's definitely enough to have impressed you guys. You thought his song was great.
I legitimately do think that this is a great song. You did good, friend.
So Luceus just kind of puts his spear in the ground and lays it on his chest long enough to actually clap sincerely for the song when it's done.
Stravos takes a mock bow and goes, I shall call it the tale of Luceus conquering his fear, whilst Gundrick does nothing.
Tries to do something and fails.
We visit.
Sorry, say that again.
I said I will have you sing that at every tavern we visit.
Absolutely.
So yes, I think we're done here.
Shall we continue?
All right, so like I said, the rest of the room, it's a pretty straightforward ruin. You know, there's really nowhere to go but forward. There's a small door behind the spider corpse.
All right, so I will lead the way.
You want the torch back?
No, just follow behind me.
Roger, roger.
Stravos follows behind Gunderic.
All right, cool. And as you pass through this doorway, you see a small, couldn't be more than 10 foot by 10 foot room, all gleaming in white marble. It's very, very elaborate looking. And on the far end of the room, there is an altar of sorts. And sure as shit, right on that altar is laying this dagger and this scroll, fresh for the taking.
So Luceus will immediately go over and point the stuff out to Stavros.
Stravos would like to roll perception before he does anything else.
Give me 3d6, Stravos.
It does seem awfully convenient.
That is a 10 total.
Cool. And you notice that the tile directly in front of the altar is just a little bit raised up compared to the other ones, maybe a perfect half inch all the way around that tile.
So Stravos just sort of goes, says, don't step on that tile.
And Luceus, his spot beside Stravos, he says, I will let you, the smart one, continue forth. What shall we do?
So Stravos will sort of look at the other tiles, try to see if maybe there's any other tiles look a bit suspicious, and say, whatever you do, don't step on that one. Probably a pit.
Well, that's not too pleasant. I'll follow your lead.
My friend, you've got a ridiculously long spear. Could you do me a favor and just sort of poke that one tile just to see if I'm right, or if I'm just being a bit silly?
No, that's not necessary.
Gunderic, do you have a better idea?
Yes. How about we just don't step on it?
And we carefully take the 2 items we need off the altar.
That works as well. Let's go for it.
So Luceus kind of just takes his spear and moves the scroll just a tiny bit on the altar.
All right. And nothing happens at all.
Can we reach the altar without stepping on that tile?
Oh, yeah, there's several tiles all around it. That's just the first tile, like directly in the center of this rectangular altar in front of you. You know, it's like long ways directly in front of you. And
I would like to look at the other tiles around it to see if there are any more irregularities.
And you notice that they're almost all perfectly immaculate. I mean, for being a ruin, the stuff is carved very well. And you can see that only that one tile directly in front of the altar is raised up. And as I said, it's no more than half an inch to an inch all the way around it.
All right, cool. So if there's no objections, I would like to step around that tile, acquire the couple items, and come back to the party.
All right, and you are able to acquire them. You avoided the one tile that was clearly about to trigger something. You are able to retrieve the scroll and dagger, and you join back at the bottom of the stair set there with Luceus and Stravos.
Simple enough.
And Luceus just looks at the items and says, we have what we came for. We should return to the bard.
Stavros, you want to carry these?
Why not? I've got space in my bag.
I'll hand them over to him.
So Stravos just sort of places the dagger in his bag, but before anything, he just wants to take a look at the scroll, see if he can maybe understand any of it. So would I roll world lore or rune lore here?
Yeah, sure. You unravel the scroll a little bit, and you see crazy stuff that is not through laying written all over it. Give me 3d6 plus your world lore.
All right. 1 second. So including my intelligence mod and my about a 12.
And you're able to tell that it probably wasn't there originally, that maybe it was brought there at a later date after the Fairling civilization had fallen. But other than that, you're not sure where it came from, who made it, or why it was there in the first place.
So Stravos will just sort of roll it up, make sure it's, tied to the string all nice and pretty, puts in the bag and goes, "This isn't Fairling writing, boys. Something's a little bit off. Don't know what, but something."
Lucius looks at him and says, "All the more reason for us to get out of here."
Agreed.
All right, cool. So you guys, you leave back the way you came. It was straightforward enough. You leave the ruin and you go back through, the rocky terrain all covered in moss that is the ruin in the forest. Heading back, it is the same day. So after about 2 hours of travel, I will make you guys test your stamina one more time, this time against a slightly higher DD. We can find it. So just give me all 3d6 plus your stamina.
15.
I fail.
19.
What'd you get, Josh?
More than 5 under the DD.
Okay, so you're really, really tired the whole way back. Like you can't stop bitching about how tired you are. The rest of you are still pretty exhausted after this lengthy journey for such young men, but you feel like you'll be able to pull through.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back home. I just want to go to sleep.
Can I get 3d6 from you all again? You're testing perception.
9.
14. Oh, sorry, 17. Apologies.
So Stravos, out in the woods upon your journey, a good distance out, you notice a brown bear. Now he's not aggressive, and he's pretty much minding his own business. But you notice him out there, and he's not terribly far away from the party.
Lucius, how do you feel about bears?
Lucius reaches into his backpack or his side satchel and pulls out a bear pelt, and he says, "About this."
How do you feel about bear meat for tonight?
Well, it would depend on the bear.
How about the bear over there?
Oh, the bear over there?
Bear over there?
And he's just kind of like, you see him walking slowly through the forest, and maybe he notices you guys, but if he does, he really doesn't care.
I say we try to forage and leave him alone first. He doesn't seem like he wants to hurt us. We should just leave him in peace.
Seems fair.
Sounds good to me.
We should just give him some space. Bears don't really want any piece of humans, and to be truthful, I don't want any piece of the bear.
Yeah, and the bear continues to go about his own business. As a matter of fact, he kind of turns his back and starts to head further away from you guys in general.
Bears don't like people.
I don't like bears.
So you guys, you make it back to stream in Truskinia. You see the large stone walls of your hometown gleaming in the evening sunlight. You make it back into town, and sure as shit, next to that tree is that bard. And he's playing a beautiful song on his lyre, one that you all recognize to be a song from your homeland. Whether or not he's from there, you're not sure, but you recognize the song to be one of your own.
We shall greet him and inform him of our success.
The bard sees you guys walking up. Gambar, the bard. And he says, "Ha ha, young warriors, I knew you would come back to me. Tell me, have you brought the dagger? Have you brought the scroll?"
So Stravos just sort of taps his bag but doesn't take anything out and goes, "We retrieved what you asked for, Bard. Why don't you tell us why you'd like these?"
To be honest, I don't know.
For our effort.
I'm a middleman. These are for someone much more important than I. But I make deals here, I make deals there. I figured if I could cut out the middleman and send you guys to go retrieve the scroll and the dagger, it would be much weight off my shoulders. And I appreciate you. Have you retrieved it?
Stravos just his ears sort of perk up with the idea of the middleman, and he thinks to himself, obviously, you know what? I could probably try and convince this bard to let it slip who his mysterious buyer is, just out of pure curiosity. So can I roll to try and charisma check him?
Hey, give me an acting check.
Acting. Okay. Character roll, so including intelligence mod, that is a...
Oh, that should be your charisma, not intelligence.
Sorry, charisma mod and my character, what's the word? Trickster bonus for character checks, that is a 12.
And Gambar the bard, he looks at you and he says, between you and me, young warrior, the making doesn't have a lot of time to wait around for such objects that I've promised him. And he kind of winks at you and smiles.
Fair enough.
Now, come on. I have the sack of gold I promised you, and I will surely come up with wonderful songs to tell of your tales once you have proven that you have brought the items I have asked for.
So Stravos opens his bag, pulls out the scroll and dagger, and just sort of gently leans it over to the bard.
And he laughs. He says, "Ha ha!" And he just tosses over the bag full of silver and gold coin to you. As he admires upon the scroll and the dagger, he says, "You've gotten it. Well, as I said, this is a relief off me. I'm so glad. I heard that there was large spiders and other things I just didn't want to deal with, let alone on my own. I appreciate you, young warriors. Surely your name will grow in the town of Stream."
This benefits us both, Gambar. Happy to have been of assistance.
And hey, I'm coming across jobs constantly. I know the making here in Truskinia Stream personally. And you have proven yourselves worthy warriors, and I would gladly consign work to you again.
Luceus would step forward and say, "I'm interested in said work."
And I'm interested in providing it for you. But for now, I must provide somebody very important with these artifacts. I appreciate you both, the three of you. Thank you. And he starts to walk away, sort of strumming this happy melodic melody on his lyre, singing this song about three young men that acquired a treasure to him more valuable than gold. So I'm going to wrap it up right there. I mean, it's a quick game. I wanted to play super bad today. It was like all I could think about. I'm like, oh, I want to play MYFAROG. I want to play MYFAROG. So I really appreciate you guys just running through this goofy story with me. Dakota, it's always a pleasure. Josh, glad to have you on my channel again. And Sebastian, this is like my first time, I believe, actually playing with you. So it's a total pleasure having you. Again, I will with the Mythmasters here on YouTube. If you haven't joined yet, the Mythmasters, or I'm sorry, the MYFAROG Mythic Fantasy Role-Playing Game Gamers Group on Facebook. Join it. It's awesome. Thank you for watching. And